Okay, this video right here is pretty much gonna sum it up. It's gonna bring two different exotics and two very different classes head to head once and for all. Wormgod Caress versus Liar's Handshake. Now, a few months ago, it was actually I think around April, we made this video right here. Essentially, we took Shoulder Charge, combined it with Wormgod Caress, which grants us the perk Burning Fist, which elevates our melee damage with each consecutive melee kill, and it stacks up to 5. Essentially, inside of one of the forges, with just one shoulder charge combined with 1-2 punch and Burning Fist times 5, we were doing over 1,000,000 damage in a blink of an eye. It required some setup, of course. You needed something there to kill, to proc the melee kills. You also need to learn how to slide, shoot a shotgun shot off, and then come out of your shoulder charge, which is really not too difficult. Kind of like riding a bike. Once you get it down once, you pretty much got it. But 1,000,000 damage was what we were able to pull off. Needless to say, it was potent. Now, around that same time, I had challenged the Hunter class because there was some videos coming out about Liar's Handshake and its build and potential with Top Tree Arc Strider and how that was the best melee class. And I made a statement in our 1,000,000 damage video that there was no way in hell Hunters could surpass Titans when it came to single melee hit damage. Now, this was my first real experience with Liar's Handshake and 1-2 punch. Yes, it's a tad bit astounded, okay? How this thing has not been nerfed, I don't even know. First up, Liar's Handshake comes with the perk Cross Counter. Using your arc melee ability or being hit by a melee attack will allow you to follow up with an extremely powerful melee counterpunch that will heal you. Put that in perspective, for PvE, the damage from simply your base melee damage to cross counter being activated jumps up by 200%. That is a ginormous jump, and we haven't even started combining it with Top Tree Arc Strider. Now, first up, Top Tree Arc Strider comes with the perk Combination Blow. Kill an enemy with this melee ability triggers health regeneration and increases your melee damage temporarily. Stacks up to 3 times. Now, Combination Blow lasts for a very long time. I think it's like 20 seconds. Now, the perk demands a melee ability kill, not just a basic melee kill, meaning you're always gonna need your melee energy at a full whopping 100% to truly take advantage of Combination Blow and proc it. Lo and behold, though, you hoppity hunters come with a perk called Gambler's Dodge, which grants you your melee by simply rolling on the ground. Isn't that amazing? And for those moments that you do mess up and you happen to roll on the ground too far away from an enemy, simply getting a melee kill will actually recharge your dodge ability. On top of that, dodging increases your melee range. The stupid amount of synergy here, guys. Obviously, this was well designed to make Liar's Handshake an absolutely deadly combination. Now, in terms of damage values at Greg, and I know somebody's gonna ask me, why do you still use Greg? Listen, me and this guy, we've been working together for a long time. Pretty sure he's like next in line in terms of Hive royalty. Needless to say, me and this dude's got kind of a relationship. So for those that are saying, hey man, why don't you quit using Greg and go to the Tribute Hall? The hell with you. You don't understand this relationship. Now, in terms of looking at damage values, Combination Blow at our first stack goes up by 60%. Combination Blow plus Cross Counter goes up by 380%. And as you see, the damage values progressively get larger. It's actually extremely nasty. Now, at the bottom here, we combine 1-2 punch with Combination Blow for a total damage of 14,707. Now, that may not seem like a lot of damage, but it is 1,129% increase from its base melee. Where you took your original melee damage at 1,197, you grew it by that much, which is pretty incredible. Now, underneath that, 1-2 punch plus Combination Blow times 3 plus Cross Counter throws our damage up to 44,119. Guys, look at the percentage increase there. Now, again, this is scaling from the original base melee damage. I'm just showing you how much we've actually taken our base melee damage and actually grew it, which is insane. Now, if you notice the strategy here, I proc Combination Blow times 3. I now have 20 seconds, which is a very long time to take advantage of these traits. Again, everything here is just screaming ease of use. But 1-2 punch states that hitting an enemy with every pellet in a shot increases your melee damage for a short duration. Now, it normally only lasts for like a second or two, which is actually perfect here for our hunters, because the same duration that it takes for me to get 2 melee hits in is the same duration that 1-2 punch lasts. Meaning, I get 1 shot off with my shotgun, I proc the perk 1-2 punch, and I follow up with 2 melee hits, and then I proceed to rinse and repeat. Now, for someone like Greg, obviously this is overkill. He dies extremely fast under these conditions, which made us move to the forges to check it out. And unfortunately, the forges proved to be kind of the same scenario. The bosses died a little too fast. Like, I was able to see how much damage I was doing. You see how much I'm dropping them with every consecutive melee hit, which is pretty substantial. But I needed something a little meatier, which takes us to Gambit. Now, 9 times out of 10, meleeing a Gambit boss is normally suicidal, right? You just get stomped the hell and back. What turns out, after you meet like a certain threshold of damage, you're sitting there stunning that boss over and over again. And even if they do stomp, if you're meleeing, simply the melee animation will keep you from getting stomped away from your enemy, as long as you're making contact. Now, this is when I was getting blown away. I've never seen anything like this. Like, I know there's people out there, Glad and those other guys, SC Slayers and them, that have already like soloed Riven with this build, but I have never melted a boss quite like this. This was shocking, to say the least. So much so, I didn't really believe the damage values until I got at the end of it all. And after I single-handedly killed a Primeval, pretty much by myself, and received the medal Primeval Scameval, where you defeat a Primeval before your team has any Primeval Slayer buffs, I was blown away here. 87% Primeval damage. Fellas, I killed this boss less than 15 seconds, pretty much by myself. Like, I know there was a tether thrown in there, which helped for sure, but there was no major buffs outside of that. I'm not sitting on a well. There's no empowering. Simply combination blow plus 1-2 punch is all that is at work here. And even for a second time in a row, again, look how fast I am melting this boss. I've played a lot of Gambit with a lot of different builds and a lot of setups. I have never got to an end screen and seen damage values like this. 91% of Primeval damage, 71,000 damage. Look at everybody else's damage. I got a guy on my team that didn't even get in the thousands. Why? Because he didn't have to. That guy probably just sat in the back with some popcorn and was like, hot damn. This damage is insane. Now, is it better than a Wormgod Caress Titan? You know me, guys. Even if defeat was staring me right in my eyes, I probably wouldn't even accept it. But just to give you some damage values, Shoulder Charge Sunbreaker, by the way, which is the highest dealing damage melee ability on the Titan class in terms of one-hit melees, plus Synthecepts and Biotic enhancements, does 22,023 damage. Now, with Shoulder Charge plus Peregrine Greaves, that actually goes up to 33,702. Nothing huge, but not bad. Again, neither one of those setups require any type of setup. It's just literally you running in there and shoulder charging your enemy. Now, Shoulder Charge Sunbreaker plus 1-2 punch plus Synthecepts throws our damage up to 48,829. Not much setup here either. You do have to slide, get the shotgun shot off, and then proceed to shoulder charge your target. But like I said, once you get that down once, it's like riding a bike. Now, the big stuff, the major stuff. Shoulder Charge plus 1-2 punch plus Burning Fist times 5 at Greg was doing 122,000 damage in one melee hit, which is essentially 107.5% more damage than that of the sum of both 1-2 punch, combination blow times 3, and cross counter. Again, that is the sum there. So it does substantially more damage from a melee to melee comparison. From one melee hit to one melee hit, Titans are still king in this aspect. But in terms of ease of use, in terms of consistent damage over 15 to 20 seconds like you just saw there with that Gambit Primeval boss, Liar's Handshake in combination with combination blow, cross counter, and 1-2 punch is the obvious choice, even over our Titan setup here with Burning Fist times 5 on Wormgod Caress. It's sad. I hate to see it, man. Titans, that's what we are. We're punching maniacs. We're supposed to go in there and just clobber everything with our fists, but somehow Bungie has graced the Hunter class with literally the best DPS setup in the entire game. It's disgusting. Not only is it disgusting, its ease of use is way better than that of Wormgod's Caress. Wormgod's Caress, you gotta find 5 enemies, and then after getting 5 melee kills, you now only have 5 seconds to get to whatever target it is you're trying to do damage to get that ultimate melee hit off. Yes, it does have greater melee damage from that one melee hit comparison, but in terms of ease of use and in terms of total consistent damage, Liar's Handshake on the Hunter class with Top Tree Arcstrider beats us, boys. Now, all is not lost. It's only a matter of time before we figure out how to do what can't be done. You see, guys, the exotic peregrine greaves will only activate if Titans are in the air, meaning the combination of 1-2 punch where you slide, get the shotgun shot off, and then proceed to shoulder charge does not work with greaves. Now, I've spent many hours next to Greg. We've talked about it. He told me to slide off the side of a box and maybe it'll proc it. It didn't work. We've also set up a few macros trying to get more stuff to work. Still doesn't work. I think there's a way to do it though. And if there is a way to make it possible, the combination of 1-2 punch with greaves, as nasty as Burning Fist times 5 may be, and it is nasty, that, my friends, that would be the setup. Greaves plus 1-2 punch. If we can ever figure out how to proc those two together, and it's probably not possible. Bungie intentionally made it so. But considering how much damage Liar's Handshake is doing here, and considering that Titan's identity is based on our melee damage, I feel like I'm missing something, guys. Either way it goes, boys, both of these setups are very nasty if you're looking to do large amounts of melee damage. If you've got the enemies around you and the patience to get the setup, the Wormgod way is extremely disgusting. But if you're looking for that ease of use, for that consistent damage over time, as well as the ability to single-handedly take down things like a primeval boss, Liar's Handshake, it's nasty. Well, fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.